Today we will discuss about the theories of motivation. So what is motivation? A motivation is the driving force that make us take action, reach for goals, and push through hard times. It is the inner part that explains why we do what we do, whether we want a snack, a good grade, or a good job. Generally, motivation is a desire, need, or want that generates energy vital for the person to act or behave in a particular way within a specific context. We have two types of motivation, the intrinsic motivation and the extrinsic motivation. Now, what is intrinsic motivation? This is a motivation that is driven by one's own goal or ambition. You do something because you find it enjoyable, interesting, or personally rewarding. This could be learning a new skill, creating art, or exploring a topic that fascinates you. The reward is the activity itself. Now, when we say extrinsic motivation, this is the type of motivation that is driven by the anticipation of and expectation of some kind of payoff from an external source. You do something to get a reward or avoid punishment. Or, this could be getting money, praise, a good grade, or even avoiding a scolding. Now, here are some principles of motivation that teachers can use to allow active participation of learners and to keep them on track with the lesson. First is the environment can be used to focus the learner's attention. In this part, the teachers can modify the classroom environment like displaying learners' output or posting relevant and up-to-date information to motivate the learners to do more. Second is incentives motivate learning. Teachers should be generous enough to give any kind of reward that motivates learners to do their best. Third is the internal motivation is longer lasting and more self-directive than external motivation, which is teachers should motivate learners to be more intrinsically motivated rather than extrinsically motivated. Fourth is learning is most effective when learners are ready to learn, which means anchored on the law of readiness. It has been proven that readiness affects learning and the performance of the learner. Fifth is motivation is enhanced by the way in which the instructional material is organized, wherein organized learning materials well so that learners could follow. We have here 6 theories of motivation. First is the drive theories by Clark Hall. This theory explains that drive occurs because of the stimulation of needs, wherein action starts from unmet needs like hunger or sleep. For example, a student falls asleep in class. The teacher notices and offers a water break. The student wakes up and can focus again. Second is self-efficacy by Albert Bandura. This focuses on the belief that individuals have capabilities to perform a series of actions needed to manage budding situation, wherein it is believing that you can succeed. Third is the self-determination by Edward L. D.C. and Richard M. Ryan. It recognizes the strength that comes from the sense of autonomy in making choices on the things that he or she does. For example, in a science class, students choose a topic from a list to research. They present their findings in a way that suits them, etc. Video, poster, or report. Fourth is the theory of achievement motivation by John William Atkinson. This theory is associated with experiences and values, wherein the success needs belief and value. The fifth theory is the attribution theory by Bernard Wiener. It is concerned with how we interpret and understand events and how this can influence the way we think and behave, wherein it explains successes and failures. Sixth is the last theory is control or choice theory by William Glasser that explains the behavior is motivated by what a person needs at any given time. These basic needs are as follows: fun, freedom, love and belongingness, power, and survival. The next part is the techniques in motivating learners. First is to challenge them. Teachers should provide learners opportunities to undertake real challenges and encourage them to take intellectual risk. For example, in math, a teacher gives a problem that's a bit hard but solvable. Students try because they like a good challenge. Next is build on strengths first. Teachers should capitalize on learners' talents and skills to achieve success. For example, a teacher asks a student who likes art to illustrate a science concept. Now, the student enjoys it and does well. Third is provide a secure environment, wherein teachers should help learners deal with failure, because dealing with failure squarely is critical for developing motivation and successful learning. That emphasize is always room for improvement. A happy environment produces happy learning. Next is give bite-sized tasks. Teachers should narrow down the topic to a challenging but manageable scope. Narrowing lessons into bite sizes is equally imperative for developing motivation. For example, instead of a huge essay, a teacher assigns short paragraphs over a week where students feel less overwhelmed and more motivated to finish. Next, self-evaluation. The teacher should teach learners to evaluate themselves to avoid competition and to address the question, what was done well and how can it be improved? For example, the teacher asks, what did you do well? What can you improve? Students reflect and learn from their experience. Last technique is provide frequent positive feedback, wherein teachers should let learners know that they notice their efforts and appreciate their hard work, such as gestures, is found out to be a powerful positive motivational tools. For example, a teacher says, "Nice job on that part. Your effort shows." The student feels good and wants to repeat that effort.